Welcome back to another episode of Q&A with Hyde, where I answer the questions you're all dying to know about me. Before we get into it, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell for notifications so you know when we upload new videos to this channel. Today's video is brought to you once again by our patrons on Patreon, where you guys can get exclusive content like Discord access, custom fangs, private Snapchat, meet and greets, and a lot more. If you guys want to have your questions answered on a YouTube video on this channel, join that Patreon at patreon.com/bokuwahyde. Let's get into it. So my favorite piece of merch that is Patreon exclusive so far is one that we actually just released for December. It is the famous photo of Potato and I that our good friend November Red had made to look like a Polaroid with some tape on it. I thought it was a really unique take on that photo that you guys have all seen and that we've repurposed 100,000 times, but it was just a really refreshed way of utilizing that photo, and everybody just seems to really like that photo. So I have to say right now that's probably my favorite one. For me to pick a couple of them would be kind of tough, but I always really like when we get into our crazy auction battles. We've had some insane auction battles between not only some of the members that are constantly in our channel, but sometimes some random people will come in and get in the mix, and it's always just super crazy to see what people are willing to like get into to get a certain piece of merch or a specific item. That's always fun. Or when they get into the gifting battles, when we do our sometimes TikTok will have some sort of competition, and I think that it comes down to just seeing how the community all kind of comes together during the TikTok lives to really help our channel compete and climb ranks over other creators. It's a really inspiring and motivating moment for me when we have those kind of streams. In regards to bands that we would want to tour with, that would make most sense, I think bands like, I've heard Motionless in White, Bring Me the Horizon. I think bands like that or in similar genres would be the wisest move in terms of what bands would make sense to be on tour with. But if I had my picks, I'd be picking all kinds of Japanese bands like Lynch or Nocturnal Bloodlust or just all these crazy Japanese bands that I love. That'd be a really cool experience for me. My favorite music genres, historically my favorite has always been 80s hair metal, but I really got into the Japanese visual kei genre as well. So I've kind of branched off between the 80s hair metal, the Japanese visual kei, and then started listening to a lot of like melodic metalcore and deathcore, stuff like that. But I find myself really picky when it comes to music. I don't know why, it's something that I really feel like I have to feel emotionally invested in to really get into it. So it's always kind of been between the 80s hair metal or the Japanese metal. I would say that my favorite song from Lion Court to play live would have to be Haunted, just because I really like the fact that that's one of our few songs that people really sing back with us. It was the very first song that we released, so people have had a lot more time to really get into that song and learn it. So when we've played shows, a lot of times people will sing that chorus back to us, and that's a really cool feeling. For No Silence, I think my favorite song to play would probably be Deja Vu. Again, that's a song that people know, so there's a lot of times people are singing that stuff back to us. But that song's just got a really cool vibe, and it's just one that I find the most fun to play live on stage. Thank you guys again for joining us on another episode of Q&A with Hyde, where I answer the questions you're all dying to know. Big shout out to the patrons who are making this all possible. The Patreon is where you guys can join and get your questions submitted to be featured on this YouTube channel. Once again, check the Patreon out at patreon.com/bokuwahyde. And if you have not already, make sure to subscribe and click the bell here on YouTube for notifications. And we will see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.